How do you invoke arbitration if there is a dispute between the parties? That is going to be what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Ramana Reddy and I am a practicing lawyer. The typical problem that comes about is, that there are two parties that have entered into a particular agreement. Just for the sake of simplicity, let's assume that there's one party that has agreed to supply chairs to another party for a deal value of say 1 crores, and now there's a dispute between the parties. Either the material is defective or either there is non-payment and so on and so forth. Now one of the parties wants to invoke arbitration. How do they do that? And that is going to be what we're going to talk about today. Now it is the way to invoke arbitration is by giving a notice to the other party. Now, a notice does not mean a simple legal notice. When you invoke arbitration, there are specific things that you need to include in the arbitration notice for it to be, for you to validly invoke arbitration, so that you can go through the arbitration process. So the first step there would be to issue a notice invoking arbitration. Now, what will that particular notice contain? What are the 5 to 6 things that the notice should contain if you want to invoke arbitration? Well, the first thing that the notice should contain is that you must give details of the dispute. You must say that, in our chair example, that I was supposed to supply 100 or 1,000 chairs to you. You were supposed to pay me 1 crore rupees. I have supplied the chairs to you on so dates, and you have still not paid me the amounts. So the details of the dispute, that has to come out clearly in the notice. The second thing that has to come up in the notice is you must extract the arbitration clause from the contract. So you have a contract, and that contract has say 50 clauses. One clause will which will deal with dispute resolution, governing law. That clause will speak about the arbitration clause, how the arbitration is to be conducted. So you may have a sole arbitrator, you may have an arbitrator, an arbitral tribunal of 3 arbitrators. So you will have to pick up that clause and you'll have to extract that clause in the notice. So that is step 2. Step number 3 is that you must request appointment of an arbitrator. So the best way to do this is to nominate your own arbitrator. So you can say, I nominate Mr. A as to be my arbitrator. If it's a sole arbitration, a sole arbitrator kind of clause, then you will say, I nominate Mr. A to be the arbitrator. So you must give out a name as to who you are appointing as the arbitrator. Then then you must finally say, I hereby invoke arbitration, and you have to respond within 15 days. If you don't respond, then I am going to continue with the arbitration. Now let's say that you receive a reply from the other side, and most likely what's going to happen is the other side is also going to nominate their own arbitrator. You may say Mr. A, they may say Mr. X, and let's say the clause provides that there's only one arbitrator. Then in that case, both of you will have to go to the High Court, the relevant High Court, and you must file an application under Section 11 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, where the High Court will step in and say, okay, look, both of you are not able to agree on a particular arbitrator, so therefore I am going to nominate or appoint an arbitrator on your behalf. So while Section 11 is a separate process, and I'll talk about that in a separate video, but the first step to invoking arbitration is to issue a notice to the other side stating these few things. You give the details of the dispute, you extract the arbitration clause, you nominate an arbitrator, and you say respond within so and so days. And so you must refer to the arbitration clause in the agreement between the both of you to invoke arbitration. One important thing to keep in mind is if you just put the details of the claim, you say of the dispute, but you don't extract the clause, you don't talk about arbitration, that does not mean that you have invoked arbitration. Your whole case can get dismissed on that ground. So be careful when you issue these notices. I hope the video was helpful. Thank you for watching.